As they used to say, good evening to all the ladies and gentlemen and all the ships at sea. It is, who can believe it, August already, the 4th. We are here at Pen and Sword, which is a general open mic run by Tesoro, an international women's poetry network. I am Stacy Dyson. I run Tesoro. And we are unbelievably lucky to have with us one of our members who is killing the slam scene, first of all, and has been for a little while, but she just also recently released her first book, In Lieu of Flowers. Our feature this evening is the unbelievable Shockie G. We're going to go ahead and do some open mic things. If you would like to be in the open mic, you need to put hells yeah in the chat section and I will call on you. Here's the deal. No theme. We don't censor. As a policy, we do not give blanket trigger warnings. If you want to give one before your individual piece or pieces, that's fine. We don't screen share because we want to see your face and hear your voice. And it should go without saying, but unfortunately does not. No hate speech. So, as I usually tell folks, we are recording this. It will go on the Tesoro YouTube channel. So don't say anything that you don't want your mama, your psychiatrist, the cops, or the district attorney to hear. So I'll rat you out. Okay. First, a little bit of news. There's a lot going on with Tesoro for the next few months. We will have events every single Friday from now until we close our season around November the 20th. So there's this open mic, which, as I say, is our general open mic, Pen and Sword. Then there's our open mic for women and those who identify as women only. That one's called Woman Heart. We also have the Aperitif concert series. So you get to meet Tesoro women. You get to meet other women in the field doing the things that they do in the most interesting way they do them. As far as on the ground, I am really, really pleased to announce that Tesoro has its first major on the ground event on August the 19th. If you are in and around LA, you need to come on. Doc, if you win those millions, charter a jet, bring some friends and come on. It's going to be a party. It will be at the Sims Library of Poetry, and the lineup is unbelievable because we have Diosa X, we have Sandy Shakes, we have Rita Zahir, we have the poet Rose Gold, we have me. So we'll be on stage, behaving as if we have no home training or common sense, which is what we do anyway, but it's all of us doing it together. Los Angeles is not ready. So if you're able to make that, we would love to see you. It's an open mic as well, so bring your dancing shoes. Please keep an eye on the Tesoro website and on Instagram and Facebook so that you know what's going on, because we'd love to see you as often as we can. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to kick off our open mic. There's a piece that's been laying on my heart that I feel like I need to get out there, and then we'll go on ahead and get going. I was tired of being threatened, of my children being threatened, of being in constant physical danger. All I did was fire a bullet into the ceiling. I never meant to hit him. I knew I wasn't going to. I hit what I aim at, okay? For trying to protect my family, I caught 20 years, did hard time in lockdown for being tired. I am tired. I sent my child to a better school for a better life. The judge handed me down 5 years. When another mother, a celebrity mother, a white mother, lied and paid somebody else so her child could be at the good school, she got a 2-week sentence at a country club jail, walked out after 11 days, said she was sorry. I don't have enough money for my sorry to make a difference. I'm still in prison and I'm tired. The level of fatigue we're dealing with right now, this is something that Black and brown women have known all of our lives. We are past exhausted with having to hold up half or more of the sky, hold family together, hold ourselves together. It becomes too much. And yet, when we say we need our downtime, alone time, self care time to mourn or create something, anything that is not for general consumption, we are told, be strong, sister. You got a little bit more in you, sister. Come on, sister. You can keep going. No, no. Why should I? Why should I be required to? We can't. We just can't with y'all. Men, children, the world. We just can't with y'all some days. Estoy muy cansada. The lights are always on. We sleep in crowded, ugly spaces. The woman next to me has wounds from trying to keep her daughter from being ripped out of her arms. She cries dark and ragged-edged stars onto the gray floor. Yesterday, they took me to another ugly, sterile space to make sure I would never have children. I have wounds and bad dreams about vanished babies. The woman and I cry together now. I am so tired. Past tired, really. I never sleep anymore because my daughter slept just long enough to be executed by a hail of bullets that had nothing to do with her. I don't know that I will ever sleep again. In the street, they shout, say her name, say her name. I just whisper it into my heart where I know she can still hear me. If you listen late at night, early morning, whenever the world turns again, you hear them in every kind of cage there is. Mothers who cannot reach their babies crying and make rescue the way mothers do. Mothers whose babies grew are growing, knowing mama tried to protect them but could not protect herself. Mothers whose children defied the natural order of things and died first. Mothers in tears, in pain, who cannot sleep. Mothers in every kind of cage there is. So we're going to go ahead and get started to our open mic. I see Brian Generalissimo is in the house. Welcome, dear heart. Again, if you want to read, you need to put a hell's yeah in the chat so that I get you on the list. We're going to start off with our resident for this evening, Poet Laureate, Bob Janning. Dear heart, give us what you got.
Give you what I've got. Okay. How many minutes do I have?
You have two pieces.
2 pieces. Okay. Thank you. This first is titled The Color of Love. What is the color of love? It is the color of matter and energy, of thoughts and ideas, of hopes and dreams, of compassion and empathy, of animancy and memories, of day and night, of space and time, all the unknowns of infinity and the forever beyond forever. It is the color of hugs and kisses, of caresses and caffooning, of music and dance, of song and poetry, and all the kitsch of home. and it is the color of who, what, when, where, how, and why, in all the surreality of being and the wonder of existence. It is the color of you. It is the color of me. It is the color of us. And a short one titled Unseen Moments. Walking between worlds in the bright silence of dawn, we pass like ghosts between night and day, in broad strokes of existence and unseen infinite moments, and life treads through time, a cryptic revenant of life. Thank you.
You all open up your mics and throw Doc some flowers for that gorgeous read.
Woo,
Y'all are
Beautiful
much too
read.
subdued for me, but we'll work on it. Okay, coming up next, we have raw poet Vita Zahir. What you got, Chuck?
Oh, I didn't know I was okay. All right. I'm just gonna do one piece, but it's a little bit longer for me, so that should work out. And it's called In a Perfect World. They say a butterfly is a servant of nature. If a butterfly lands on you, it's a sign that your unconscious mind is giving approval, or maybe just permission. In a perfect world, we would never catch the butterflies we chase, knowing that simply touching them causes their colors to fade, making them more vulnerable to prey. Instead, we would watch them with gentle awe, contemplate the magic that they possess from far away, with the understanding nothing is perfect close up. Flaws are what create the pretty patterns we admire, just like the cracks in our story that look so beautiful from far away. In a perfect world, our midnight thoughts would lay on top of each other like exhausted lovers, feeling spent but never quite satiated, words melting into each other at their meeting points. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have to send messages from long distances like a smoke signal, a faraway SOS that dissipates into the air. Instead, I'd place my lips on your microphone tattoo, pronounce promises with perfect precision and clear and commanding conviction, true dedication to delivering wanderlust wishes. It would be like yielding to the demands of destiny. In a perfect world, I'd wish for the freedom to believe in a happy ending. I'd bury myself in your story of me, of us. I'd heal your afflictions with my affections, manifest a mending to your melancholy, cast a spell on your sorrows, recharge your aura with my energy, uncomplicate the road between you and me. Steal kisses on wistful walks under the stars, the ones that had held us together when we were apart. In a perfect world, we would make love in the morning, make dinner at night, make poetry every day, make new stories, make old memories, make magic, make mini fairies, make wishes come true, make dreams into prophecies. In a perfect world, I would bathe in your celestial pheromones, soak up your powerful passion, not worried about the ensuing addiction. I'd wake up in your arms around me, your hair tangled with mine, your taste on my lips, your scent on my skin, your dreams dancing in my head. In a perfect world, we live forever. In that first moment, you called me a poet. and told me to live in my art, we would exist there together in the midst of our arts of illusion in this world. Your ink marked my heart the way it did the page, transforming pain into art, a story told in scars, each line forming a trail of tears. I was already a lonely ghost before I met you, but you turned on the light in the attic, and now I see with great clarity the calamity that has befallen me. My heart rattles, making a noise everyone can hear. They call it poetry. I call it absolute despair. As my ache for you echoes through my whole body, it displays how hollow my heart has always been. It gives the emptiness a name. It stills the storm I had created to distract myself, empowers a quiet I have been running from in the imperfections of this world. And that's that piece.
Well, my
Woo.
goodness, y'all
You-
open up your
you.
mics. Show this lady some roses.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Rock
Oh,
poet.
just say OM to that. That was
That
just
was
beautiful.
okay. Well, Brian, since we got you on the mic, you're up next. So
Okay.
glitter for us, honey.
You said 2 poems?
Yes, dear.
Okay, I have 3 new ones, but I'll do 2 because that's the rules. Redefining normal. I was driving down an interstate in Connecticut, which was quite the undertaking. Traffic was off and on bumper to bumper, which is the norm when driving through Connecticut. I was inching my way down the next to far left lane. I looked to my right when I saw an exit sign. It looked like a normal exit sign, maybe 2.5 feet tall by 5 feet wide, bright forescreen with lettering in a slight metallic white, just metallic enough to be seen through low visibility rain and fog, plus an arrow pointing to the off-ramp. It seemed normal as any other exit sign. I'd pass and look at my GPS to see how much longer till I get to my destination. But this normal looking exit sign I passed as I inched along, and bumper to bumper Connecticut traffic had 3 words defining its place: Newtown and Sandy Hook. One on top of the other. It's possible that it read Sandy Hook to Newtown. But because traffic was bumper to bumper and I was traveling between 20 miles per hour rather than 60 or 70, my mind remembered the history that happened in that small town corner of Connecticut at an elementary school shooting that would repeat itself in Uvalde 10 years and 5 months later, in between which there'd be shootings in gay bars, grocery stores, churches, synagogues, a music festival, and a myriad different locales during different categories of events, to the point mass shootings seemed like normal occurrences. Sandy Hook was supposed to be the one that would cause change. Uvalde was supposed to be the one that would cause change. Yet non-military personnel can purchase guns meant for military use in efficient killing of multiple humans. Our right to bear arms was conceived when guns were 1 shot at a time muskets that had to be primed. It seems the more types of places mass shootings happen, and the more cultural festivals and birthday parties at dance halls that garner the privilege of being part of a list that happens so often, the list becomes another listicle on an internet news site that belittles the violence that happened. So when I pass an exit sign that should make me and everyone else take pause, we all just nonchalantly drive by what seems like a normal exit sign. And I'm going to do this piece. So Terry and I were at the New York Poetry Festival, and we were taking a cab to Katz's Delicatessen. And another poet was telling us how when he was in Philadelphia, he went to this Mexican restaurant in inner city Philadelphia, and he counted 19 hypodermic needles on the ground when he walked from his car to the restaurant. And so we had a challenge to write a poem about the 19 needles. And I think Terry's going to read hers. As a poet, A poet I know walked from his car to a Mexican restaurant in inner city Philadelphia. He counted 19 needles on the ground, in the street, in the gutter, on the sidewalk. It was like tap dancing around an irregular hopscotch course to avoid tipping a hypodermic with residue of blood and heroin that could puncture his Converse high tops and the sole of his foot. But he Texas two-stepped around the paraphernalia obstacle course into the restaurant for a meal that would produce a Facebook post with photos worthy of Bon Appetit and a review that would garner multiple patrons for the joint. But he only mentioned the needles to his poet friends. The tiny restaurant was an attempt by a chef who worked in kitchens helmed by celebrity chefs, who then decided to bring a better restaurant to the neighborhood that raised him. He was one of the ones that made it out. He rarely returned as each new job allowed him to live in a better neighborhood. So he opened a place with affordable prices. It would be a neighborhood joint staffed by neighborhood people he trained so they could also get out. But his restaurant friends came to eat and spend money. They made Yelp, Facebook, and Instagram posts that brought more people with more money, that caused long lines to happen, lines neighborhood people weren't used to. These people with more money than the residents ever knew noticed empty retail spaces ripe for coffee houses and microbreweries, and dilapidated residential buildings waiting to be gentrified with rents out of reach of those who had been there for decades. As each new building and business was renovated, residential rents were raised. Neighborhood residents found their homes they did not own too expensive to live in. Though the chef never intended all this to happen, he never moved back to the neighborhood that raised him. His employees were able to afford to move away. And when people who never stepped foot in the neighborhood before came to eat in the newly trendy area with a nickname like WeHo or Tribeca, they didn't have to tap dance around an obstacle course of needles. Thank you.
Y'all open up your mics, throw some roses for this man.
Both those pieces were
Woo!
Yeah,
Both
that was
General. Let's go,
all and everything it needed to
Let's
be.
go.
Okay, next up on the mic, we have Sherry, you're up.
Hi. I already had the introduction from Brian, so I'm just going to go. 1,000 needles. By the way, I changed it to 1,000. 1,000 needles lying on the ground. 1,000 pricks who sold the shit to our kids. 1,000 knives slicing open the veins and bleeding out this poem. This poem is a mother's angst and pain. We were not supposed to outlive our children. 1,000 pills laying on the floor, spilled out of the unfamiliar names printed on the bottle. Face down, barely breathing, framing his face. The face that used to fit in my cupped hands. The face that used to look back at me adoringly. I was his world back then. I failed him. Society failed him. He was sold a dream that never manifested. The world made no room for his hope and promise. So he gave up from trying. He settled for less. While inside he died, just going through his daily ritual, knowing that he was meant for so much more. Thank you. And I have one more that was from the Poetry Fest. There was a workshop in the middle of everything going on, so I got involved. Brian was in that with me too. Let me just grab that because that's on my phone. Oh, here it is. Okay. My poetry is my truth. My truth is my own, but maybe not for the majority. My story of a day at the beach, burning skin scarlet, no sunscreen, applying cooling aloe to sleep, or my 3 wedding rings. A fear of violence against my heart, take back my commitment, take back my part. My poetry sparks ideas too colorful to contain, like the rainbow of gems in my hair or my jewelry overflowing their containers. My poetry is scattered thoughts, planting seeds in my garden, birthing beautiful flowers in the spring, sneezing, making your eyes water. My poetry be spicy like 3-alarm chili, burning your tongue, or sexy like black lace peeking out under satin sheets, caressing silky soft skin. My poetry recalls dead relationships gone sour like rancid milk, something you wish to spit out of your mouth. But what's with this preoccupation of death, Barbie? You have no expiration date. My poetry is not fitting the narrative. My poetry will not be nominated for the Pulitzer Prize. My poetry is something you want to cuddle with, like my puppy Violet. Wet licks of her tongue, her way of giving kisses. My poetry wags its tail when it knows you've come home. My poetry is faithful like my first teddy bear of 61 years, my longest relationship. This is a lie, not like the truth of my poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Brian.
PRJ.
I love you. Thank you for taking us to Katz's and paying for all of us.
I think Stacy's frozen.
She might be muted.
Stacy's muted. Thank you, Marissa. Sandy, darling, you're up.
Yo, can you guys hear me? I'm on my cell phone.
We can hear you just fine.
Hey, everyone. Well, since Stacy's the boss and she doesn't care about my well-being, I read when I read, so let's go. Okay, 2 new pieces.
New shit.
Here we go. I live in a one-way street where people are forced to go in an unintended direction. A metaphor for a poet like me who spins backwards with no real intention, surrounded by older generations who sometimes gift us lemons from their wisdom trees. This is my neighborhood, but it is not where my roots were born. Memories, smells of Boyle Heights have gotten bought out by those with more CEOs and OGs. I don't smoke, but rumor has it that weed is now a hybrid Venus flytrap and has left the local dealer's family starving for plants. The open mics are gone, the hosts moved on. My audience wore khakis and Cortez, but the new theater brings in bow ties. Rich people who can afford not to wear socks. So I travel to find my poets, the ones who make me feel at home when I arrive on stage and they greet me in my 10-year-old version. No judgment, a needed hug, and my broken inner child sings again. A group of outcasts, quiet, loud, Cheech and Chong or Charlie Chaplin types of poets. Smoky masterpiece in their eyes, always rusty to outsiders. But inside these crooked city lines, my friends remain the shiniest cement bubblegum. They snap and I move in. They give me words and there are no more empty Christmas trees. They warm up the mic and I sign the lease. Poets who offer me church in an unholy land, community built where words can live safely. Even if I currently live on a one-way street, this is not my neighborhood. My roots are planted in a community where flowers chase the sun's rays, where my brown sun rises and builds new heights. And chamacos who looked up to El Chavo now run venues their younger selves could never afford. We are no longer running. And Tesoro, turn on the mics for us to speak. Thank you. All righty, one more, all up in my business, because I always tell you guys what the hell's going on through my pen. Here we go. I decided it was time to cut the last ties to what defined my womanhood. 39 years since these tubes held my choice hostage on duplicating genetically. 39 years of pain, struggle, living in limbo. You see, I was born a mother to the universe, but I never felt the need to watch a seed grow from my soil. Avoided being attached to a tiny version of me for an entire 29 sunsets. Feeling like the shorter version of me was still hiding underneath the sink when my father turned into the boogeyman with the power to erase the safety I read about in library books. I gave life to one son, and in return, he promised to raise me. Before, during, and after him, I begged doctors to let me decide if I wanted my belly to be ripe with human possibility. They refused and would send me away with the prescription to continue being a real woman. Beginning the process of asking to return motherhood's requirement requires you to go through a series of psychological testing to prove that you're not crazy, that you're still Mexican, even if your dreams do not include being a submissive housewife. Talk to us about your sanity, Miss Cornejo. Tell us why you don't want to be a brown woman with 5 kids she cannot afford. Tell us again your silly thoughts of wanting to manifest your destiny into a taboo childhood existence. We are the doctors, Miss Cornejo. We are the only ones qualified to tell you what you really need to do with your womb. We bought the rights to your ancestors, and your ovaries are technically still our property. Listen to the scars left inside my soul. You can still hear my great-grandmother scream while her husband beat her. You can still feel my abuelita searching poverty soil to feed her 7 children. You can still taste the tears my mother drowned in mourning my father's infidelity. You can still see me running away from a poisoned love so that my sunshine could bloom on an east side garden. Listen, it stops with me. I found a Latina surgeon, and she allowed me to give my fallopian attachments to a forced future I never wanted. On her table, she made sure my scars blended into my tattoos. She made sure I opened my eyes and was free, no longer a captive on what it meant to be a real woman. My name is Sandy, and in 2023, my womanhood was finally decided by me. Thank you.
Yes, woman, let's go speak it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Open up your mics and throw this woman some roses. Oh my goodness.
Woo-hoo.
Love them both, honey.
Woo!
That was all and everything it ever needed to be.
Thank you, thank you. I will now not be beaten up by the fancy Miss Stacy Dyson.
I love you too. Okay. So I'm gonna do one more quick piece and then we're gonna get on to our feature. Know this. I have no investment in caring if you understand. Know this. My life mattered before you acknowledged the fact. My life mattered before you gave it your blessing. Our lives were never intended for your nod of approval. We have stopped listening for your applause, affirmation, cries of solidarity. Whether we have those tools or not, we thrive. Persist. Warrior on. Your approval is the lace napkin at the barbecue. Nice, but not at all necessary. A good ally knows the value of silence. A fool demands attention for recognizing what has already been taught. Make your decisions and walk where I need your shield or get gone. That said, because I'm just feeling in that kind of mood today. Marissa, honey, I am so sorry. I had forgotten. So we're going to go ahead and put you on right now, and then Shockie is going to go on. So do your thing, babe.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I when I was supposed to be on, but here we go. So I'm gonna do this piece titled "Title 42 Expires," I wrote it the night before Title 42 expired, being that I live in a border state. And then I have another one for you. I think about the broken levees during Katrina, how the flood of failure and death came for Louisiana. Whenever the news chooses to give a 10-second spot during a not so prime time to the massive drowning of desperate human necessity at the southern border. Tomorrow, 11:59 p.m., I suppose Eastern time, even though no one here is on their time. COVID restrictions will be lifted for migrants, and they are cresting the finite line between two countries that used to be one, used to belong to a people actually born to this land, torn apart by the greed of man's hand, driven by a God that anoints their power and avarice need to conquer, to self-proclaim, being king, being rightful owner, be able to say who belongs and who does not. So many are flocking for survival over continents, when most Americans can't even walk to the corner store. The masses arrive since corruption and murder has driven them north to the border like cattle. The wharf to the ship of dreams equals tragedy around here. So many have died. Too many have died. Mothers hand off their babies to strangers to be raped, trafficked, slaughtered, all in the name of a better life, because there is no clear way to sanctuary, kept in cages, segregated for the sake of not being deemed legal. 251,487 reported border crossings in just December 2022. Over 12,000 were unaccompanied children. Our levees are about to break in less than 30 hours, and still bodies are burning in trailers, in car accidents, in tents on the side of a river that holds the ghosts of hope. Those who tried to cross before, those who died cold and alone and wet and scared, who sacrificed because there is no other choice for so many who wait for this place still. And their families will never know. They will never see the corpses or be called to join them in said promised land. This is not the American dream. This is not the America I am proud of. This is not a place that saves the many, but a few. We allow poor communities of color to die slowly, one at a time. Glacial genocide. While the government decides how much it will cost, then points a heavy finger to the other guy. Mothers would never let this happen. Mothers would never let children die. No one came. No one came for weeks after Katrina. No one has ever come here, except now. 1,500 extra troops to this place. Send lawyers, send doctors, send actual help. Or send more coroners, more casket makers, more priests and poets to write the true history. Poem.
Send in the goddamn poet. Thank you.
And this one's not quite so heavy. I wrote this a while back. It's titled Participation Trophy. I am grateful for the small breaths that fill my chest, completely unknown to me. The rise and fall of heartbeats not broken by the cracking whip of disaster, disappointment, shame, framed memories that invade my daydream nights. I am grateful for the things I have, forgotten to count. All the tears that failed to fall. The tears that take a stand and say, fuck you, no more. We will fall no more. I need to remember you. The need to remember you runs off my mind instead. Like warm, soapy shower water carries away the stench and scum from the day. I am grateful for the fuzz in the slippers I wear. Worn soles to warm my toes. Better yet, that they are on my feet, and my feet are on the floor, and the floor is not my bed. This time, I am awake. I am out of bed, one step at a time, ever moving the tines of time forward from you. I've done the laundry. I've had my coffee. I've written a new poem already today. To say the least, I am still here. Fresh brown chicken eggs sit in a brown bowl on the counter. They are speckled with dark freckles. Their shell is harder than the ones from the store. Their yolks are more orange, their flavor more eggy, and I'm going to bake with them today. A tiny win for the life I fight for inside. I am hungry and have not eaten. My stomach rumbles for substance, but I am feeding my soul as we speak, through whispers of words, as warm as the wool wrapped around my arms in this chilly December air. I got the tree up, adorned with ornaments, another tiny win, but so much more because my girls count down the days until gorged presents and ripped wrapping, and all I want is to wrap this wrap around my arms. Woven armor, soft, wide, just the right size. Another tiny win. I find myself excited about tonight when I will see my poet friends, their words and voices, victories heard from heartache. They heal every part of me, so I don't have to fend for myself. Another tiny win. Thank you.
Y'all open up your microphones. So this Ladies and Roses.
Yeah, Marissa.
Yeah, Shockie.
It's my unmuting.
We're we're not doing this until September. Y'all just calm down.
Marissa.
Okay, so finally, we come to our feature. And as with most of our features, I've been trying to remember where I met this person online, of course, and I don't know. I have no recollection of this woman not being in my life, in my poetic life.
At the club.
She is unbelievably talented, unbelievably evocative and passionate. I have yet to hear her perform without having to take some really deep, searching breaths afterward. Would you please welcome to the mic the one and only Shockie G.
Let's go, Shockie G! I'm just stoked I get to see her face the whole time. I'm so excited. Oh my God, let's go. Yes.
Woo! You can mute her, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today, but we'll get through. I will be reading some pieces from my new book, In Lieu of Flowers, which you can get on my website if you don't already have it. I'll put it in the chat. My website, shockiegpoetry.com. It has more than just my book on there. So if you're interested, you can go on there and see some of my pieces and things like that. So I'm just going to read a few pieces. My question to you all, I mean, Stacy was bragging about Marissa's cooking earlier. I want to know how y'all make your mac and cheese. Do you put eggs in it or do you not put eggs in it?
Are we talking egg yolks or whole eggs?
Whole eggs.
No, because I don't want to go to hell when I die.
Too late.
No egg. Again, I love y'all too.
All right. It's an argument. I like to start. I do put eggs in mine. But anyway, this first poem is called How to Cook a Memory. 1. First, we decide how to flavor this moment. Salt pork, smoked turkey, or ham hocks, placed in a searing hot pan with onions, garlic, the essentials. Yes, we cut the onions to hide our tears. We mince the garlic and our words. Don't you dare pretend powder will replace these. 2. Flatten out the leaves, roll 3 at a time, and slice each roll into thin pinwheels. This is where Mama tells you the story about Grandma and how she used to cut her greens. Says never use scissors, always use a chef's knife. There is no real science behind this, just how it's always been done, as far back as she can remember. 3. Do not question tradition. Too many questions make it too noisy to hear the ancestors screaming, "That's enough, Laurie's." Blood pressure runs in our family. All the women chopping, cutting, pouring, telling tales of the ancient uncles, you staying in a child's place. Pretend you are not listening. No, you best not repeat anything outside these 4 walls. 4. Add the first few fistfuls of greens to the pot. Stir the pot, but not the room, wooden spoons only. Remember the time you said a little too much? Wooden spoon turned backhand, fat lip, silence is what holds us all together. Do not talk about Auntie's drug problem. Why these cousins aren't allowed to be here. Instead, we talk about Junior's football scholarship, how he is definitely going to the league, all the examples of Black excellence we can muster with mustard greens. 5. Let the greens simmer. Let this moment too. These are the times you will look back on. You will taste these memories every time you cook this meal. The setting may be different. People may have moved on. Remember, in a Black household, you only speak when spoken to. So these stories are all you have. Remember the Thanksgiving when Uncle burned the turkey, made it inedible, but no one cared. It was just another reminder that Dad wasn't around anymore to cook. Say prayer over the table. Know that when Mama is gone, you will make these greens every year. Wait for someone to say, "Damn, these taste just like I remember." 6. Don't get cocky. You are not the mac and cheese person. The last time you started to make a roux, you got laughed at. So we don't do that over here. We are milk and egg custard people. Why? You haven't been listening. It's just how it's always been done. So this next piece was done from a prompt from one of our Tesoro sisters, Ray Jane, who, as you know, has stepped back a little bit from the poetry hosting with Nuyo. We have her in our thoughts and prayers. Her challenge was "The image that haunts me is not beautiful," as the starting line. And it is in my book titled Ray Jane's Challenge. She is a reflection in a broken mirror, a looking glass split down its center, the image distorted, whispering, "You are not enough." Laughs in the face of my affirmations. She is a not so distant memory. Broken and bloodied, I do not dwell in those dark forests anymore. but still she haunts me. You see, childhood trauma has a way of sneaking into the party, dressing itself as family, pouring blood from their wounds to remind you it is thicker than water. And here I wear my mask too, pretend I am anything other than victim. What exactly does a healed person look like? Do I even resemble a person not running from their past? Or am I just a haunted graveyard, burying all the best parts of me? Okay, this piece is called Trauma. Stop crying. I will give you something to cry about. After all, I brought you into this world. I can always take you out. We laugh because we remember. We all live the same childhood. Grab switches from the same bushes, fat lips from talking back. We wear our scars like traditional drag, as if to say, what shade of trauma looks best on you? I swear, child abuse really brings out the color of your eyes or the beat of your heart when your pulse is louder than the apology that never came. How do you pray to a God that prefers you on your knees? When you spent hours kneeling on rice, arms stretched out like a crucifixion, but there was no Messiah, no miracles to be received, just a self-baptism in tears. Where you'd rather drown than see the light again, sleep rather than be resurrected. Inhale. Know that each breath created this. Call it the present, call it future. Know that time does not exist, but healing does. Let the affirmations speak themselves. Say, it will be okay. This kind of echoes the poems by Terry Rose earlier. It's a poem called The Devil Could Have Waited. There's a poem I've been trying to write for years now, but I don't know how to. It's 50% apology, 20% grief, 20% call to action, and 10% survivor's guilt. Or wish I had done more, or maybe it's anger. Either way, it is here and you are not. And isn't that always my issue? Pretending a poem can resurrect those already gone. Like, why wasn't there a poem to make you stay? A poem that said addiction is hell and you are too much angel to die fighting demons. But who am I kidding? I remember there was a poem called Staying Up All Night to Talk You Through Urges. There was a short one called Rest in Peace to Everyone Else Around You. I think you wrote it. It was something like, I can't let it happen to me. But my favorite poem was the haiku. Spending months in rehab, this time I'll get clean. This time is the last time. I've heard it before. Too many times. They always say it till they're blue in the face. And that's not a play on words. When they found you, you were blue. The only poem left is I'm sorry I wasn't there. I thought time would have waited. There was no rush. No reason to take you away and a million to make you stay. Like, haven't you heard of second chances or third ones or too many I lose count, just like all the ones I've lost to overdose and addiction? Tell me, how do you live in a world where everyone around you is dying to get out?
Damn, Shockie.
I'm sorry, my cat won't shut up in the background. It's a short one called Affirmations. Sometimes I stand in the front of the mirror. Do not look at the reflection. No, I will only see my mother's face. But I whisper, repeat after me. You are beautiful. Despite all you've been through, you are amazing. I love you. Some days the mirror does not say it back, refuses to become an echo chamber, tells me it will only repeat it when I mean it. But this morning, it handed me these words back on bended knee like the sweetest proposal. I hope this is a vow we both can keep. All right. This poem is called Song as Old as Time. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite movies, any version of it. Like, I've always loved that movie, as an adult anyway. So that's where that came from. My body has been screaming whispers for as long as I can remember. Lately, it has been plucking my spine like a cello if I dare to move. My knees playing percussion while my chest sings ballads. My body is an orchestra of regret. When I was younger, these instruments were well maintained, a jazz band on a Saturday night. Now, they are the funeral procession's incessant croon. Maybe I could be a better conductor. Let the woodwinds have their solo. I could tighten up my strings so they were in tune. This music could sound like a symphony of change. Maybe we could dance in the moonlight, a slow waltz to the beat of time. What's that? Sorry about that. I noticed when the diagnosis came, we both cried, made plans for what was next. When cancer came to visit, we shut all the windows, narrowed all the blinds, and prayed to the heavens like geysers beneath a waning moon. I saw your tears welcome gravity, like underground was the only home you knew. Watched you, ready for homecoming, asked that you be crowned its king. But when the gloves came off and cancer was pulled out by Gurney, we did not stop to celebrate, did not dance around the ring and claim you champion. Felt like we were mocking God, as if cancer and God are one and the same. And maybe they are. I've seen both bring you to your knees, but I have never mistaken your broken for weak. Just making sure my Zoom's still working. You guys are quiet. All right. This one is called Astronauts. I miss the days flying to the moon on playground swings, just astronauts on an adventure, where stress was nothing but a word mama used when frustrated. And you, weightless as a balloon, floating in your own innocence, could never find the gravity behind it. But you will. And the weight will come crashing down. Houston is not the only place with problems, but you are the only one in control of the mission. Do not destroy whatever is left. They say, even when you miss, you will land amongst the stars. That is, only if you leave the atmosphere and most fear flying. Did you lose your sense of wonder? You cannot spell forgiveness without learning how to give away the parts of you scattered across the sunset. You leave the playground and join the concrete jungle gym where space comes at $100 per square inch if you're lucky. Sorry. And the stars are only found in the twinkle of your eyes. But do not forget how swings become spaceships, how small Earth can be when standing on the moon. Have you noticed that life is a party? I have. I've been broken into confetti, spread myself over the ballroom of your sadness. Surprise! Everyone is here, ready to dance around with depression until our feet hurt. We are celebrating nothing and everything or something. But the point is, we're happy you came. Standing on a rooftop, sipping compliments, drunk on ego, we see the whole city partying. Our neighbors, a wedding reception. Across the street, a birthday party. Up the block, a bat mitzvah. Everyone is living. Next week is a block party my anxiety wasn't invited to. Or I haven't checked my mailbox for the invite. I'm not sure if I will even make it. I don't think I have anything to wear. But a voice whispers, come as you are. And for a moment, I remember I am a guest of honor. I throw on my poetry and wrap myself in syllables, ready to shake whatever I have left. Decide to stay out late, party as long as I can. Tomorrow is a party. We are all invited. I hope you all can make it. All right, this is last poem. This one is not in my book. This is a newer piece. It's called The Apocalypse.
Boo, we want another hour and a half. Boo, last piece. Boo.
All right, this one is called The Apocalypse Will Not Be Televised. They're afraid the apocalypse will come swift. Asteroids blazing from the skies or nuclear disaster vaporizing the planet. I think it will sneak in like a thief in the night, knocking over glaciers in the basement, crock-potting our bodies until we fall off the bone. But we will not share the experience. My apocalypse is a slow-moving lava flow, inching along my bones until I become a mountain of destruction. When a volcano erupts, most do not burn. No. They die from falling rocks, tsunamis, and toxic gases long before the ash turns their body stone. One day, I will be another Pompeii, just a moment frozen in time. But it is only my apocalypse to hold, because the ending only matters when you are the main character. And I am a chapter in someone else's book, living my life in the margins. When your apocalypse comes to greet you, I hope you will shake its hand, pretend to be stronger than it claims itself, and promise to always, always make it one hell of a story. Thanks, guys.
Encore, 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 encore. Woo!
For once, I am in agreement with Marissa. Darling, we got to have another one. That was just entirely too much. You got to give us at least one more.
Whose side are you
Something to dream on.
on? Something to dream on. All right. I don't know. Let's just flip and find a random page in the book.
That always works.
Well, it's nothing. I gotta find something that's happy. Good luck with that, right?
No, doesn't have to be happy. Just, the the phrase something to dream on has very wide parameters. Just do you, boo. While she's looking for the piece, let me remind y'all that if you want to donate to the flow, go to poetswind@hotmail.com on PayPal and give as you can. 90% of whatever is donated goes to the artist because poets need to get paid. 10% comes back to Tesoro to keep the lights on and make us able to keep opening and maintaining safe spaces for women to do their work. So again, if you would like to contribute, poetswind@hotmail.com on PayPal, and we will appreciate every cent.
This one is called The Price of Beauty. My mother would always say the cost of beauty is pain. Let her tell it. You pay for it with pops of a comb anytime you flinch. In this house, We don't have time for tender heads. There is no such thing as too tight. Sitting for hours while she translates history, translates my unruly fro into a masterpiece. She says, "This is our time." I would only learn this after it was gone. She told me, "Never let anyone play in your hair. You will pick up their negative energy." Once at a sleepover, the girls cut my hair in my sleep. My foster mother made me read the story of Samson over and over until the words no longer had roots. Was afraid I looked unkempt. Some days I'd sit in relaxer until I thought I had no roots. Like European beauty standards were being burned into my brain. I have tried it all. Long, short, braids, locks, curls, straight. None of it has defined this crown. Changed this garden of a heritage, antenna to the sun, these follicle flowing stories down the nape of my neck, resting on my shoulders. Some days, I still feel my mother's fingers running through my scalp, a reminder of the cost of beauty. And yes, that is to say, my mother's touch reminds me of the pain. But also, there is love. So,
Absolutely. Y'all open up your mics, show this woman some flowers, buy her book. The link is in the chat. Shockie, can you hold it up for us one more time? In Lieu of Flowers, a collection of poems by the one and only Shockie G. Y'all need to get this book. You know you do.
I already have. It's amazing.
Okay,
Like the woman who wrote it.
absolutely. So, again, buy the book. We have a little bit of time left. So if there's anybody who wants to do another piece.
May I do another piece, Miss Stacy Dyson?
Yes, darling, go right ahead.
Okay.
Anybody else who wants to do another piece, please put hell yeah in the chat.
So this is the piece from the workshop that the impromptu workshop that Terry and I did at the poetry festival. And the first line is the title of the poem. My poetry is a napkin. It really tries to serve its purpose, but it finds itself in one of those restaurant napkin dispensers. Napkins get stuck in that people stick their fingers into to unstick the next napkin, unavoidably ripping it and possibly the next one till a full napkin exits the dispenser. Sometimes my poetry is a bar napkin. A bartender hands a patron eating chicken wings as if anything besides a full-size dinner napkin would be appropriate, which is totally unfair to the chicken wing eater who won't be able to properly wipe sauce or blue cheese dressing from his face. But every once in a while, my poetry is a fancy cloth, machine washable dinner napkin that not only feels soft against my cheek, but is absorbent enough to clean any sauce or condiment cleanly, then get thrown into a washing machine to come out soft and clean, ready to clean more messy poetry that exits my mind. The end.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Brian. Dog Janning, you said you had one more for us?
Yes. It's an Ars Poetica poem titled Essence. At the apex of being lies a world of sound, a world of words, a world of poetry. It is a world written in infinite warp and weft on the loom of existence. It is composed of stardust and comets, experience and emotion, time and life. It tells a story and sings a song in all the languages of the multiverse. It is the voice of galaxies and stars, planets and moons, particles and waves. It is knowledge and wisdom transmitted and translated. It is the essence, the enlightenment, the perfection of all. Thank you.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Doc. Marissa, you got one more for us, I think?
I'm pulling up Shockie's request
Okay.
for a poem. I think she
Okay.
needs to laugh, and then that's why she is. She has requested this piece. There it is.
Lay it on us.
There's so many different versions of this poem. All right, it's pulling up. Let's see. All right. Come on, computer. This is a parody. This is an erotic parody. So we're all aware. All right, let me blow this up because my eyes don't see that small. All right, here we go. I got my awesome Shockie G merch, by the way. Okay. I got to be prepared for this. This is the whole thing. All right. Shockie, this is for you. From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe comes a legend. The legend of Vagatron, defender of the Pussyverse, a mighty robot loved by clits and feared by dicks. As Vagatron's legend grew, peace settled as came all across the galaxy. On planet Earth, a vibration alliance was formed. Together with the good toys of our sex system, they maintained peace throughout the Pussyverse until a horrible new menace threatened the galaxy. Vagatron was needed once more. This is a story of super force of space explorers specially trained and sent by the Alliance to bring back Vagatron, defender of the Pussyverse. Now that we've defeated the invasion, we only have Prince Albert Piercing left to contend with. We're moving in on his last line of defense. His sinister weapons do not stand a chance. Our mission is to seek and destroy the underside. It will be the most difficult challenge Vagatron has ever faced. Luckily, with ground and pound support and special help from our friends at G-Spots and Company, they may be small, but they pack a huge wallop. I hope we're not too late. Dodge the laser beams. No pay for this mission. Even in desperate times like these, we must become a weapon. Prepare for secret operation code name, Operation Orgasm. Roger that. Preparing orgasm underway. Begin final countdown to 69. Blast off. It's hard to believe turning a whole vagina into a starship. Vagatron will be right back after these messages. Hey kids, it's Vagatron. I'm available for parties, get-togethers, orgies. Just call me. And now, back to Vagatron, defender of the Pussyverse. If Vagatron ever needed help, the time is now. Let's win for all the people of Vaginas. Form shafted balls, form foreskin, all form the head. Activate interlock, connected, up, higher, top of the pussy. Mega thrusters are a go. Let's go, Vagatron force. Okay, team, give it all we got. Fire rainbows up, come missiles, fire the high beams. Watch out for Prince Albert if he could only get inside. We're approaching Planet Pleasure. They're blasting at me. Form the blasting back swords. Look out! I feel my pussy power. Only the coconut lube will save him now. Put your flying fortress in my command. I will save you, said Vagatron. Let's do it. Ignite torches. Fire. Keep pouring it on. Vagatron will be right back after these messages. Seriously. I can show you the G-spot. It's not that big a secret anymore. And back to Vagatron, defender of the Pussyverse. Rotor missile standby. I'm gonna trigger a huge wave. Look out! Activate interlocks. Up, mega thrusters. Let's go, Vagatron force. It's a river of what exactly? Stay tuned next week to see if I actually come. There you go.
All righty then.
Woo, I
Those
missed
who grew up in the 80s will
Those are
understand. If you never watched Voltron in the 80s, yeah, that's our 80s cartoon commercials for you. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh,
I've
Stacey.
never heard that. That was awesome.
Oh.
See, Marissa, you have a new fan.
It's hilarious.
So-
Go and look up Voltron from the 80s. Those who didn't get it, you'll get it.
So this is the end of our open mic for the night. I want to thank everyone who came. I especially want to thank our feature, Shockie G, the author of the newly published In Lieu of Flowers. Y'all open up your mics, give this woman some serious roses. That was the sort of reading that people just needed to have this week. So
Let's
give
go,
it up.
Shockie G! Get her merch, everyone. This is a hat from
Shockie.
Shockie G. Let's go, boop boop.
That hat looks
Uh,
awesome on you.
Thank you. It looks way more awesome on Shockie G.
I didn't see her wearing, I saw the shirt, but I didn't see the hat on her.
So
Yeah.
please remember that if you want to donate to the flow, it's poetswind@hotmail.com. On PayPal, 90% goes to the artist, 10% comes back to Tesoro to keep the lights on, keep us able to keep running shows and open mic like this. On August the 19th, if you happen to be in and around the Los Angeles area, or if you can charter a jet, or if you want to take a train, or as the song went, I don't care how you get here if you can. There will be a Tesoro takeover at the Sims Library of Poetry. Rita Zahir, Diosa X, Sandy Shakes, Poet Rose Gold, and myself up on stage tearing the absolute roof out of the Los Angeles sky. So as I say, if y'all are in and around or can get there, please come. It's an open mic. So if you come, bring your poetry, because if I see you, I'm going to call on you. On September the 8th, 9th, and 10th, there will be the New Mexico Poetry Summit hosted by the effervescent Marissa Prada. I will not bother to tell you all of the poets who are going to be there because, first of all, you wouldn't believe me. The level of magnitude of talent that is going to be there. Again, New Mexico is not prepared, but you can be. Check out the advertising, go to the site, get your tickets. We would love to see all of you there for all 3 days or however many days you can make it. If you have further questions, you can reach out to Marissa and she will tell you each and everything that you might want to know. As I say, Tesoro has something going on every Friday, all the way up until November the 20th. Our next event will be August the 11th, where we'll be interviewing for the Aperitif Concert Series, one of our newest Tesoro women, Linda Ty. That promises to be a seriously interesting show. Keep your eyes open for the advertising. Go to our website, www.flyersingers.com, if you have any questions about what's going on. In the meantime, I will tell y'all what I tell all of our audiences. I am through messing around with time zones. So I don't know where you are, where in the world you are, what time it is, but wherever it is you are and whatever time of the day it is, have an absolutely fantastic wherever in the day you are or night you persist. And we will definitely see you very, very soon, I hope, somewhere around the way. Y'all take it easy. Good night.
Good night.